What's up, Dan?
Not much.
All right. So it is Wednesday when we're recording this. Wednesday in our household, Wednesday evening, is occupied with the TV show Survivor.
Mm.
All 44 painful seasons or whatever it's been. So for those that understand the show or don't know the show, a bunch of people get dumped on an island and we see who comes out on top at the end, but they have to vote each other off, and there's combativeness internally. It's a weird dynamic, but it also brings out some really interesting human factors. And it brings out components that I'm really not a fan of, but it's how I was trained in sales. So I was trained more to manipulate people to get to what I wanted. There's a lot of manipulation that goes on in Survivor. There's a lot of back conversations. There's a lot of drama that comes out. That's the reason I watch the show. But talk a little bit about some of the things that happen there and how it's relatable in the sales world, both good and bad.
I hate the word manipulation. And I hear that all the time about salespeople,
Yep.
and I'll teach a technique and they'll be like, well, that sounds manipulative. And look, manipulation can be good or bad. We manipulate all the time. That's how we got married, or that's how we went on a date, or that's how we convinced our coworkers to go to a certain restaurant we wanted to go, or that's how we were able to get a raise, or whatever. I mean, we manipulate all the time, but we don't look at it in a bad sense, only when it happens in a sales call. And so I think the thing is, we need to make sure we're not manipulating in trying to be or do evil or bad.
Yeah. No maliciousness. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's to try to uncover truth or to have the prospect understand what the real problem is. And that kind of brings to a second thing I've learned in watching Survivor. I haven't watched it as much as your family, but people lie all the time.
Yep.
Prospects lie all the time to salespeople all the time. And it's not because they're bad people. Sometimes it's we're protecting ourselves, or sometimes it's, I don't even know what the problem is to tell it to you. And so let me give you an example. If I'm talking to an owner and she says, my salespeople aren't prospecting, guess what? That's not the problem. That isn't. So why is that occurring? Well, at the end of the day, she's not holding them accountable. We had another video on this.
Yep.
She's not holding them accountable to their behavior. Well, why is that happening? Because she is afraid of that type of interaction, that I don't want to appear negative or micromanaging. And that's the real issue there. It's not that the people aren't prospecting, it's that she isn't a good leader. And so what I'm getting at here is, when we're meeting with prospects, know that they're not telling us the truth because they may not understand what it is. And it is up to us to help uncover that truth and then see if ultimately we can solve it.
Yeah. And I think what you're describing there, that in general, and I understand the generalization, but leaders of salespeople, managers, owners don't spend a lot of time getting better at dealing with potential conflict, engaging with salespeople on things that are uncomfortable. We talked before about how a lot of managers, owners, leaders, if you see two people walking down the hallway, one salesperson, one leader of that salesperson, sometimes the leader will just go the other way. They just don't want to deal with that salesperson because we're a little neurotic. We have our weird whatever. But that element of getting really good at dealing with those things that are uncomfortable for one or both parties can really improve the dynamic of a sales team and a culture. That makes sense.
At the end of the day, we all want the best for us.
Yep.
And sometimes that's better for our team or whatever, but we have to be careful here because people always are looking out for themselves. We are number one first, above and foremost everybody. And we just have to help them see that they need help and we can help them.
Yeah. And that's why we're there. We're not there to make it harder.
Or eliminate them from an island.
That too. On that note, have a great day.
See ya.